Do you know that the more you swap your property, the more you lose money? If you have not watched my video on part 1, check out here. If you move from condo to condo, even if it's a good performing condo, this is what will happen if you swap your property every 3 to 5 years. And I'm going to give you some examples. This is Botanic at Bartley TOP in 2019. So we're going to compare 3-bedder at 958 square feet. This was bought in May 2015 and sold in August 2024. So the gross profit is about 780,000. If you do a calculation for the net profit, you will see the annualized rate is at 5.45% per annum. This is held for a period of 9.3 years. After minusing off all the expenses, you get a net profit of 424,000. Now what happens within these 9 years? You swap to a good performing property. So we consider a similar 958 square feet 3-bedder Botanic at Bartley. It was bought in 2015 and sold in 2020. It made a gross profit of 247,000. Now we're going to swap to a good performing property from here. So we have Park Esta TOP in 2022. This is also 3-bedder and 958 square feet, and you can see that within 4 years, it made a gross profit at 608,000. And honestly, it is a lot of profit. This is the calculation for the net profit for Botanic at Bartley if you swap in 2020. So you can see that minus off all the expenses, you have 15,000 as your net profit. Then we are going to look at Park Esta. For Park Esta, it was bought in 2020 and sold in 2024. You can see that the annualized rate is at 8.61%, and this is extremely healthy. But don't forget, when you swap a property, you need to pay renter. You need to wait for the project to TOP, which takes 3 years. So your renter will be at 162,000, assuming that it's 4,500 per month. Minus off all your expenses, your net profit is only at 163,000. Combining these together with Botanic at Bartley, because you swap the property, your total net profit is only at 178,000. But if you did not swap the property, yet held Botanic at Bartley for 9 years, you make a net profit of 424,000, which is way more than swapping the property. And this is because a lot of expenses are incurred when you swap a property. Now let us consider this scenario where you are not renting for 3 years while waiting for Park Esta to TOP. Instead, you stay with your mother-in-law. Your net profit for Park Esta will be 325,000. Together with Botanic at Bartley, because you swap the property, your total net profit will be 340,000. And this is still less than the amount of 424,000 if you were to stay in your property. Remember, this is a high-performing property that you have swapped with 8.6% annualized rate. Even at 9 to 10%, there is still no real benefit of swapping the property. I'm going to give you 2 more examples that will have the same result. This is Esparina Residences TOP in 2013. This is what happened if you held it for 14 years all the way. 900 over 1,000 gross profit. And this is for a 3-bedder 1001 square feet. Now, if we were to swap the property at 2021 when Sengkang Grand Residences was launched, your gross profit for Esparina will be 475,000. In 2021, you bought Sengkang Grand Residences. The annualized rate for a 3-bedder 1012 square feet is at 7%, and this is very healthy. So your gross profit is 493,000. In total, for this Sengkang Grand Residences together with Esparina Residences, for 14 years, you would have made a gross profit of 900 over 1,000. But because of rental and all the expenses, the total net profit will be way lower than if you were to held on to Esparina Residences all the way. Next, we have Coco Palms TOP in 2019. We're looking at 3-bedder, and this 3-bedder is quite small for Coco Palms at only 904 square feet. Because of the size, even though the annualized rate is healthy, the total gross profit is only at 600 over 1,000. Now, what happens if we swap to Pasir Ris 8? Pasir Ris 8 has bigger 3-bedder. The annualized rate is very healthy at 9.73%, so the gross profit is 620,000 in 3 years. But if you were to swap your property, your Coco Palms would have only made a gross profit of 210,000 for a period of 7 years. With the swapping of the property, yes, you make a gross profit of 800 over 1,000 as compared to Coco Palms alone at 600 over 1,000. But if you consider the renter as well as all the expenses, you might make even lower net profit than if you were to held on to Coco Palms alone. Now, I'm not discouraging you to swap your property, but swapping every 3 to 5 years will hurt you. If you have more questions, you can always ask a different kind of agent. I will continue this series in the next video.